Hello and welcome to the Webcast for Tuesday, October 21st. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. The marine layer is slightly deeper this morning, but still quite shallow with low clouds and fog, mainly just confined near and just inland of some of the beaches. Otherwise, we continue to see clear skies across the interior, and that's going to bring us another warm day today. Here's a look at our forecast highs, some pretty solid numbers for this time of year. Most areas will warm another couple of degrees over yesterday, with the exception of the coastline due to the slightly deeper marine layer. But most of the valleys will be well up into the 80s, even pushing 90 for the warmest valleys of Southern California. Minimum humidity will remain mainly in the 15 to 30% range today, and winds will be light. So it's another very nice day overall, although definitely a little on the warm side as we approach the fourth week of October. A look at our water vapor satellite this morning reveals a very pronounced cutoff low pressure area which is starting to drift its way towards the California coast from the southwest. That's the reason for the slightly greater marine influence today. By tomorrow, that area of low pressure will move directly overhead and bring us some significant, albeit short-lived, changes. Most notable will be the change in temperatures. We'll see them plummet, with valley highs dropping all the way into the upper 60s to mid-70s. Humidity will increase mainly above 30%, and there will be an uptick in onshore flow with breezy westerly winds across the mountains and deserts. We'll have some rain chances as well. Unlike some other systems we've seen come up from the south in recent weeks, this low isn't bringing any tropical moisture along with it. However, it will still provide some lift and instability, and as a result, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms will move across the region from late this evening through Wednesday night. But again, it's not a moisture-laden system by any means, and while shower activity is possible everywhere, most locations will receive little or no rainfall. The main exception will be across some mountain areas, especially the Sierra, thanks to some extra mountain lift. Locally, up to half an inch of rainfall is possible across the higher terrain, with snow levels around 8,000 feet or higher. We'll begin to warm up and dry out on Thursday, accompanied by some locally breezy northerly flow as that system departs, but nothing too significant. And by Friday, we'll be back to normal for this time of year, with 70s and 80s returning to the valleys, so it's looking like a very nice end to the week. We'll see more changes by this weekend as a strong trough of low pressure moves into the west coast. However, while this trough will cool us back down, it's continuing to look like mostly a non-event for us from a precipitation standpoint, with most of the rain and snow likely to be confined to Northern California and the Pacific Northwest. Some light rain and high-elevation snow looks possible, mainly from a Monterey-Fresno County line northward over the weekend, but you'll have to get pretty far north for anything too substantial, and Southern California will definitely be staying dry. One thing we will see is a big uptick in onshore flow as that trough moves through. Southwest to northwest winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 50 miles per hour and locally higher will surface across the mountain ridges and desert passes over the weekend. A strong warming trend will be likely by early to mid next week as what may be a pretty strong area of high pressure builds back in following the weekend trough. There's been some mixed signals regarding potential for an offshore wind event early next week as well. Right now it is definitely not looking too impressive, but there is potential for at least some weak offshore winds to accompany the warming by the time we get to about a week from today. Dead fuel moistures have been on falling trends since last week's storm. That will continue today, but start to level out and reverse as we get a couple shots of showers and higher humidities Wednesday and again over the weekend. And green up is well underway across much of the region, signaling a prolonged seasonal lowering of fire danger, especially in Central California. The picture is not as clear over Southern California. We've had a lot of beneficial moisture, which has definitely taken some risk off the table heading into the peak of offshore wind season. However, for the first time in a while, it does look like we're moving into a prolonged warmer and drier pattern for Southern California, so it'll be really important to monitor fuel conditions in the coming weeks to help gauge just how much potential may be left out there. In the meantime, with last week's moisture still a big factor, and with no impactful fire weather expected this week, large fire potential will remain very low, at least into early next week, with little to no risk for new large incidents to emerge. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. Next one will be on Wednesday, October 22nd.